Okay, there we go. So I've already made the game Flappy Bird. That's what this is. I'm just gonna go through everything, explain everything. Gonna explain what stuff does and stuff. Yes. But I'll just give an example of how the game works first. I'll show you the game. Don't question this. My cousin that used the computer as well. That's Bradley and stuff. Flappy Bird. There we go. Ta-da! Yeah, it works. It's got all the numbers. It goes up and that. If you hit a pole, it stops. If you drop it, it stops. The position resets and everything. The bottom moves, the top moves. The bottom's in line with the pipes. Pretty epic, if I do say so myself. Okay. I'll go through the code first. What's this at the bottom? Makes sense. Okay. That's only the player stuff. Okay, we'll go for the player stuff first. Basically, okay. Hold on. Go figure it out. Where am I? Let's go through. This bit. Yes, this bit. When the game starts, when you press the play button, it resets the Y position to be the center of the screen, because if you don't do that, the bird will stay at the bottom on the screen. So this is just getting the position and setting it to transform position, which is defined here, and position Y is changed to 0, so it goes to the middle. Direction vector 0, that's direction, yes. This is telling it what to do when you're pressing a button. So you can see it says key code space, but also it says get mouse button down. Both of those. This is saying either you can press the space button or you can press get button. You can press mouse button. Mouse. Yes. And that'll change the direction. It'll get the vector from the up and down, so the y-axis, and times it by strength, which is, where is strength? Defined at the top. Yeah. It's a public float. So with it being a public float, that's those settings. That doesn't matter. That was earlier. That's from the thing. Player. If we go to the player object, there, and look at the player script, you can see there's gravity and strength. Gravity is just how strong the thing is. So if I change that to like 10, I don't know what this is going to do. Is I'm going to make it go up or down? Either way, probably be funny. Yep, there it goes. Changing that will change where it goes. So that was minus 9.8 before, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah. That's OBS. Hello. Am I recording? Yes. Where'd it go? Minus 9.8. Now that's normal again. We can change the strength. That will change how strong the jump is, because the direction times by strength is saying how strong the jump is when you press the button. So we'll change that to 10 as well. Well, I'll remember that's 5. That's simple to remember. 5. I am sorry for the microphone quality. Yep, there it goes. Now there's just one jump and you're dead. We'll change that back to 5. Okay, now this is saying when the thing starts, this only happens once it gets the sprite renderer, which is another thing that's in the Unity thing. It's getting a reference to the thing in the Unity project, which is this, which it then sprites and stuff. Yep. And this part, this is saying to call the function animate sprite every 0.15 thingy. Yes. Unenable. Yeah, that's the reset position. Update. I think I already said about that part. This is basically just what's applying a constant force of gravity, so the bird always falls down. This was following tutorial as well. I will show the tutorial afterwards, so then you know where I got the information from. Yes. This is basically just incrementing through the thing, the list thingy that we make at the start, which is why am I pointing? I've got a mouse for a reason. This bit, we're making a thingy. I forget what they're called, but in that it is in here because it's public. You define how many you want, which is in the sprite section here, and size is how many things there are, and then you can just put the images in. It's the bird 1, bird 2, and bird 3 sprites that are in there. And that just the index sprite index plus is just cycling through them basically. And when it gets to the end of the sprite index, which is what's being said here, when it gets to the end, it sets it back to 0, so it's the first one again. On to this is the part telling it what to do when the object touches things. So if it touches the obstacle, which is the pipes and the floor, it'll put it into the game. It'll call the game over state. And when it goes in between them, which is the scoring section, it will call the increase score function. Now for the next script. We'll go through all of these ones first, and then we'll do game manager, because that's the last one that we're doing. So we'll do parallax. We'll do parallax next, because that's easiest, probably. Open C# project. That's not right. I pressed the wrong thing. Open. There we go. Okay, this one, it's very simple. It's basically just getting a reference to the mesh renderer down here, yes, and making a private variable. At which point, when it's updating, it's doing that, yes. Basically just moving it along and resetting. So when it's playing, this is a bad way of describing it, but this is basically what's happening, and it's the same thing that's happening with the ground. It's the moving. It's got a variable to say how fast it is, which is the animation speed. And the animation speed times delta time is basically just saying how fast the thing is moving, because the animation speed you define in the project itself, which will be background, and then, yeah, 0.5 on that one. And for ground, I set it to 0.85, because that matches the speed of the pipe-ish. It's the closest I could get it. That's basically it for that one. We'll do spawner now, or pipes. Pipes or spawner? Because the spawner is related to the pipes, so I'll do pipes first. Yes. Okay. This is saying this is to define when they're getting destroyed. Like when the pipes reach the edge of the screen, they disappear. So basically, this is defining the speed of the pipes, so it's going at 5 and going along, yes. And that's what this is as well. This is telling it to move down here. And this is defining the left edge of the screen, but the -1 at the end here is basically just saying that when it reaches the -1 bit after the screen, when it reaches the left edge, it will continue a little bit so that it doesn't disappear while it's still on the screen. And this is just the moving. And when it gets to left edge, if x is greater, is less than, no, greater, no, less than left edge, destroy game object, because once it's gone past the left edge, the x is lower than the value of the left edge on the x-axis. Then it just destroys the game object. Again, that's it for that one. I think my brother's coming down. Nope, he's going to the toilet. I heard a noise. Doesn't matter. Public spawner, that's all in the other ones as well. Variables. This spawn rate is just how many are getting spawned. If you change that one too, if you change that one too much or make it too low, you won't be able to win. I'll demonstrate with a demonstration. 0.25. Yeah. Actually, that's a better number. 0.025. This will better demonstrate my point. If you put it to 0.75, if you put it to 0.75, the gap is just small enough that you can't regain your height before you go through the pipes. So if you just leave it at 1 and then increase it if you want the game to be easier, and slightly decrease it if you want it to be a little bit harder, then that'll work. And max height, min height, that's self-explanatory. Tensor in bulk. This is just saying it should repeatedly do the spawn, and this is saying, this is saying that when you get a game over, basically, it'll call the function spawn, which will stop the pipes from spawning. It'll stop them. So it'll just be the pipes that are already on the screen that are there, and they get deleted when you. That'll get explained in a minute. Actually, they'll get deleted when you go onto the next thing. When you press the play button, the old pipes get deleted and the player gets reset to the position, and so does the number on the top. This is saying it's gonna get the prefab. Which is what we've made out of the pipes, which is in the prefab section of pipes. Just put that in there real quick. Nope, it worked last time. There we go. It's just the pipes. Literally just the pipes. That's it. They get spawned anyway. Like if I don't put this on maximize on play and just press play, you can watch the system here. The pipes start appearing. It says pipe clone. And then they disappear when I press play. That's what I mean. And it spawns new pipes and then deletes the old ones when they get to the end of the screen. Makes sense. This is just saying that the pipes are moving. So, except it's not. I lied. This that was from the other one. This is telling the pipes whether they should be higher or lower. It chooses a random number between the set values, which is -1 and 1. But on mine, I've changed it to -1 and 2, so it can be slightly higher. It chooses a random number between them and sets that as the x, not x, y, or vector free up. Then finally, the last thing, this is the last one, script game manager. Yes, this one has an extra thing to say that you're using the UI rather than just the game engine itself, because this one is how it does all the menu interaction and stuff. So this part is saying that when the game starts, it pauses straight away and sets the target frame rate to 60. So it wants to be at 60 FPS. And these are the functions that are used, not functions, variables that are used in this section. This part is saying that when it starts, the score is set to 0. Score text is set to 0 as well, so it displays the same number. This play button set active false is saying it hides the game over and play button text and button once you press them. So when the game starts, once you press play, they disappear. And it sets the time scale to 1, so the game starts and starts moving, and player enabled to true, so the player actually starts moving. Because up until this point, the pause function is down here. It sets the time scale to 0 and disables the player movement and that. And this is saying once you start the game, all previous pipes that are left over from the last round, if you play the last round, disappear. They get deleted. Public void pause, that I've already said about that. Game over, once it does game over, it basically just displays the game over text and sets the play button to active again, so you can see it again and press it again and restart the game. And here's the scoring text. So score plus plus just adds 1 to the score once you go through the triggers, which is the bit between the pipes. And score text dot text equals score dot toString brackets is changing the score text, so the number at the top, to be the same as the number on the bottom, not number on the bottom, just the score variable itself. And now that's all the code and stuff. OBS again, it's me! Sprites, these are all the sprites. That one obviously gets used as the background. The background and the foreground move at different speeds, not because that's easier to do or anything, but because that creates a parallax effect to make it seem like the background is farther away rather than closer up. And the foreground is moving at an appropriate speed for where it is. Now I shall show the tutorials Google that I used. I used this fellow's. Don't mind the recommended. Dark Souls. How to make Flappy Bird in Unity complete tutorial. You basically just go through the whole thing and fix it at the end. Outro. Vigorous. Oh. And a Brachy's tutorial as well. Yes. I used a Brachy's tutorial to tell me how to package the game, because I have actually set up a... I don't want to hear that. No Coca-Cola. No. Why did it start again?
Good morning, Mr. Jones. It's Sharon here. I've come to help you get washed and dressed. So it's very important that you explain everything you're doing to the patient so that they know exactly what to do.
Your skills are more valuable than you realise. Teach part-time in further education and change lives without changing your career. Search Teach in Further Education.
In this video, we'll have a look at...
Jesus Christ, the audio is terrible on these headphones. How to build your... export your Unity games, because I wasn't sure. What? Sorry, I got distracted. I wasn't expecting the Arthur's Darkest episode. How to build an export is a Brachy's tutorial. Basic stuff. I was just a bit confused on how to export the thing, because I have set up... It's not that one, it's that one. Set up a thing. You can download it and test it out. Just proof that it works. I will put this in the description of this video as well. Yeah. So that is all. I've done it. Yay. This took a day. I did this very fast. This didn't take long at all. It's very easy when you follow a tutorial. Yay. Goodbye.